Alright, so far we have created a student test class, and we've seen it really doesn't have very much in it. The constructor doesn't do anything, and this setup and tear down doesn't do anything yet. But what we can do is, at this point, now that we have a test class, we can create test methods. So let's go in and create a test. Oh, also, before I forget, all this, these videos, the video lessons that I'm giving you are taken from a PDF. If you just go and if I just Googled BlueJ testing tutorial, and you can get it off of the BlueJ website. Okay, so all this stuff is in there. Then if you want to read it in more detail, I just find a lot of students just prefer video, so that's why I'm walking through it this way. But anyway, so student test, and we'll go and say create a test method. So now we're going to create a method to test a method in the student class. Okay. Now, the way you name these things is usually you name it for the method that you're going to test. Or if we just want to test, actually I'm going to test the get name and set name at the same time, so I'm just going to call it test name. Now, if actually by default the names of the test methods all start with the word test. So actually, if I just type in name, I believe it will create a test name. But we'll check that after. But notice this recording light went on. Okay, so now everything that I do is going to be basically part of the test. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a student object without the parameters, just using whatever the default parameters are. And then I am going to call the set name. Now notice that's a method that's inherited from person, so I have to go up here to where it says inherited from person, and then go over to set name this way, and I'm going to set the name to Fred. Okay, and now so now the name should have been stored in the student object as Fred, right? So let's just make sure that's what happened. Let's come out. So our test is going to be basically to verify that, right? So let's go into person again, and I'm going to say get name. Okay, it shows Fred. That's what I want. Now my test is going to be to assert that the result is equal to Fred, because it should be that if I set it to Fred, it's equal to Fred, right? So let's close this, and so now what I can do is hit the end button. If you didn't want to save this method, you could have hit cancel. I'm going to hit end because I want that method. And now if you want to look and take a peek in here, you can actually see. Oh no, it did just leave it as name. So actually what I would do is I'd rather have this be test name. Well, let's see if we just rename it. I'm going to rename it test name, because that's really... So really what you should do with all of these is name them test, and then, you know, whatever you're testing. And then I have the choice here of you know, running all the tests or I could pick which one particular test. If I had multiple tests, I could pick which one I wanted to run. So now you see void test name shows up because that's a test. So if I just hit run test, what happens? I get this window up here. It says student test name, and that tells me that it passed. And I could, let me click the close button here, or I could, like I said, if I want to pick out an individual test. So, and it says right here, test name succeeded. And if I wanted to show the test results, I can just get them back that way. Okay, so this probably doesn't look all that spectacular with just this one little tiny test, and it's a setter and getter. It seems like pretty much a no-brainer that should work. But what happens is, as you develop your program and you write more and more methods, you want to start adding tests for each of these methods. And then what happens is, as you go through and you start making changes, you can very easily run all your tests after each of your changes and make sure that everything still works. And that's, believe me, that's an incredible time saver. That's just been so helpful to me over the years in all my programming projects. So what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit more about interpreting test results and setting up fixtures and stuff like that in later videos. But that's the basics of how you create and run tests.